Welcome to the BEASTwriter podcast. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're discussing the Steelers' 49th pick. Now, this is the Steelers' first pick since they traded away their first rounder to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for Minkah Fitzpatrick earlier in the year. Based on my analytics and how the current draft board stacks up, I believe the smart play would be to draft a running back or a nose tackle. Ramon Foster, the offensive guard, retired, leaving a gaping hole on the left side. But not to worry, as the team signed Steven Wisniewski, who was on the Kansas City Chiefs and the starting guard there. They really filled that void, and now it'll be interesting how they attack the 49th pick because they already have a strong nucleus with a trio of wide receivers with Deontay Johnson, James Washington, and Juju Smith-Schuster. The team also signed tight end Eric Ebron, a big free agent signing who's going to be Big Ben's big red zone target down the seams. So it'll be interesting to see, again, how they attack this 49th pick. I'm really eager to see what they're going to do there. As I said earlier, the smart play would be to target a running back or nose tackle, and the top two running backs who realistically would be there at pick number 49 is Cam Akers from Florida State or Zach Moss from Utah. Both are powerful, violent runners who can spell James Conner on third downs. Akers brings a little bit more wiggle, a little bit more lateral agility, foot quickness, short area quickness to his game, while Moss welcomes catch tacklers with a rude awakening. Both players would provide a boost to the Steelers' rushing attack, and it's something that was missing all last year. And the reason why I believe they are leaning toward running back is look at what they did in free agency. They upgraded the fullback position because who was hurt last year? Rosie Nix. Who'd they bring in? Fullback Derek Watt, TJ Watt's brother. So the proof is in the pudding, right? They're trying to establish the running game. And it makes a lot of sense for a number of different reasons. I will point out that GM Kevin Colbert is high on players playing in their respective bowl games. A lot of these college prospects don't play in their bowl games out of fear of injury and not wanting to risk any setback, I guess you would say. But catch 22, guys, because if you don't play in the bowl game, teams will look at it in terms of their checking all the boxes. There's a box that's called football character. And in that football character becomes competitiveness. So for Kevin Colbert, he really prides himself on selecting players who play in their bowl games. And he's really quick to point that out too. If you look at all the draft pressers that Kevin Colbert has after drafting and selecting these players, he always is quick to point out players who played in their bowl games. We saw it with Cam Sutton, and had an injury and came back to play in the bowl game, and they did it again with Benny Snell out of Kentucky. So these are things that you want to look for when you actually analyze and predict who is taking who and where they're taking that certain player. Just a little tidbit for you. All right. So with that being said, Akers did not participate in the team's bowl game, and Moss opted to sit out the Senior Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see how the Steelers view them as a cultural fit, because let's face it, their production can't be denied. The production's off the chain. Now let's talk about the defense side of the ball. Should they shy away from our RB2 here? I think they should go nose tackle. They have a glaring need there with Javon Hargrave leaving for the Philadelphia Eagles. Javon Hargrave was one of the best nose tackles in the game. He was the heart of the 3-4 defense. As in any 3-4 defense, you need a strong nose tackle to two-gap leverage clip and also be able to penetrate, allowing the linebackers to make instinctive plays, flowing to the football naturally, working sideline to sideline, basically being a read and react style of a football player. He was a good run stuffer, and he was also a good interior pocket pusher. So the Steelers are really going to need to solidify that because they did nothing in free agency. Now the team has Isaiah Buggs from Alabama, who they drafted last year, but Isaiah Buggs to me is not the answer. So who might be there at number 49? Based on my analytics, my top rated nose tackle left on the board is nose tackle Neville Gallimore out of Oklahoma. He's very similar to Javon Hargrave. Let me talk about the traits. Non-stop motor, never takes plays off, displays violent hands, works through the trash, working down the sidelines, shows fight as an interior rusher, untapped potential, shows explosive get-off. I mean, these are qualities that you look for in a nose tackle. And if you watched NFL Network today, the great Daniel Jeremiah has the Steelers selecting Lloyd Cushenberry, the offensive guard center from LSU. Well, Neville Gallimore dominated Lloyd Cushenberry. So if you look at the game this year, you don't have to look too far to see that Neville Gallimore held his own, and they were double teaming Neville Gallimore all game long. Now, Oklahoma got blown out in that game, but despite that, as a scout, what you look for is if you're down 49-17, how does these players respond to that? Do they take plays off? Do they quit on their football team? Do they quit on themselves? Or do they hustle? Do they play to the whistle, to the play to the end of the game? Neville Gallimore does that. Back to what I was saying, he has a nonstop motor, plays with heart, he plays with passion. Those are traits that Kevin Colbert loves, and I'm sure the Steelers could use a lot of that, especially with the loss of Javon Hargrave. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my analysis and insights. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and spread the word to all your family and friends, and also stay up to date on all things Beast. Thank you for joining me. Take care. BEASTwriter out.